back. What's up, everybody? Papa Bear, G6 Papa Bear, coming back at you here. I wanted to do um, a quick video, kind of to give an update. I've had a couple have been really awesome as always, and been hitting me up and just wondering kind of where I've been and what's going on. Sorry if the picture looks a little funny too, by the way. I'm using HDR settings and they don't come through when I broadcast. It looks a little funny. But anyway, people have been asking kind of what's up and what's everything. Everything's good, man. I'm good to go. I just I had been a lot of stuff happened with Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I had been playing it. I played it so much. I had so many hours into it, and ironically, within about a week's period, I had a friend of mine who lost his account, so I deleted one of my characters and said, "Come on, man, I'll go with you, and we'll, So together we ranked up. I ranked up an additional character again, all over again, while he ranked up his character back up to make it playable, so we could go play PvP again. And in the meantime, my main character at some point or another got corrupted. And the guys over at Ubisoft said they would try to get into it. It took them about a month. They did actually, to their credit, they did actually eventually get it back up running again. And they said it's still a little messed up. I logged onto it. It does still work, but it had just been a little bit frustrating. And then I guess the Nickel Tour is, as everybody knows, it's been around my channel. There's been a lot of different names that I've been playing with over the last year or so. I really had some great times, man, and met some great people. But it turned out at the end that we just weren't as compatible as what we thought we were. And so we kind of went different directions. And then I finally met some people playing PvP. Sarge, Baptiste, Noah, Digirona. Man, we had a blast playing PvP. But we got to a point where the herd was thinning, and we were playing most of the same people over and over again. A lot of which were from, overseas and had some interesting lag connections. So it just wasn't. Long story short, it wasn't as much fun, and I really had just played the living hell out of the game. So I just needed to kind of freshen things up a little bit. That doesn't mean that it's not still a fun game and you can't have a ball on it. It's a great game. I've got tons of videos on the channel to show that and prove that it is a great game. And then in addition to that, too, the whole thing about being the channel, man, I appreciate every one of the 220 of you that have subscribed and have come hang out with me and while we played and did stuff. It's been awesome, man. But the only reason I really started doing the YouTube streams was to help defend, at the time, a friend of mine from some attacks he was getting. Him and his crew were getting from another crew. So I just did it to put another voice out there on the web, really. The reason I kept doing it through all the PvP stuff was that, man, you guys that have subscribed have been so awesome and so cool. So that was the reason why I kept throwing up some videos here and there. Plus, some people found some of the stuff. I did some build videos that some people found helpful, so that was fun. I really enjoy helping people. I've made the switch over to Outriders for the last month or so. My buddy Cyrus got me into it, and then we hooked our buddy H. We always call him H. Obviously, his name's longer than that, but you've seen his name a million times in my streams. And we've been crushing it. I now have, on Outriders, I have 6 different characters. 2 of them are purely for storage because I've got so much stuff. 4 of them are built up to do it. If you haven't played Outriders before, yes, everything you've heard is true. The game is a hot mess in certain ways. But let me tell you something. It's got some of the best story-written content that I've seen in a while. I mean, it's not exactly PG-13. There's quite a few, there's some cursing in it and things like that, which is perfect for me because I'm not exactly PG-13. But the gameplay is really good. There's a lot of diversity. It reminds me a lot of some of the good things that I liked about Division And the sci-fi story itself, man, they could almost make a movie out of this. If you watch just, if you play it, I would recommend actually, if you went to play it, you picked it up today because it's on sale all over the place now. If you went and picked it up and said, I'm going to start playing it, when you start playing it, play it from the beginning. Just play it by yourself and enjoy the entire story because some of the cutscenes, like if this was a movie, it would be a movie that I would go watch. I'm a big sci-fi fan, and this is really cool. I've heard people compare it to Destiny. I would almost say it's like a Destiny Division mashup to an extent. It was only designed to be about a single playthrough game, basically, was what they were said they were going to do. So you put about a couple hundred hours into it, and then you were done. But it turns out they got such a response, they're thinking about extending some stuff to it. So I don't want to give any spoilers, because if you play it, I really want somebody to jump in and just be able to enjoy it. And I'll do some gameplay here in a little bit, too. I'll jump into something that's called an expedition, so you can kind of see how it works. But basically, there's 4 different character types that you can choose from once you jump in, and when you do it, you can do it's a Pyromancer, which deals mostly with obviously pyro. It's mostly fire based. This is a Technomancer. The Technomancer is toxic based, so my shots can inflict toxin, and all my skills are basically based around toxin. There is what is it, a Colossus? Devastator, which is basically the tank of the group. He tanks a lot of damage, and that's a really tricky build to really get to work well until you get closer to endgame and get some of the exotic pieces that he needs, and then he can be extremely strong. Before that, he's a little bit tougher. And there's also the Trickster. Trickster's pain in the butt, but with the way when I play for my style, I like this Techno because it's more of a shooter. He does a lot of shooting. Tricksters shoot as well, but Tricksters are like all up in there. They just jump straight in the middle of the pack and shotguns and craziness up front. It's a pretty insane way that they play. It's just different. One minute they're on the left, next minute they're on the right. They're all over the place. So it's a high action role. The Pyromancer actually can be played 2 different ways. It can be played with like a anomaly build, which is electronics and that kind of stuff, and it allows you to use your skills to kill everything. Or you can put together a firepower build, which isn't the most effective, but it's still a lot of fun to play. It can be really effective when you play it that way too. And that's the nice thing, is the game's got a lot of diversity. Same thing with Trickster, and the same thing with the Devastator. You can play one of those as anomaly builds. In addition to that, one of the cool things is that, and this is one of the things that I like about the game, there's a lot of build diversity. And you can't see this because I don't have a lot of stuff that's sitting on here right now, but each one of these pieces of gear that I have not only got the 2 talents that you see that are running on them, but in addition to that, they've got bonus firepower, long range damage, close range damage. They can have other things on there. You can pick up a piece of gear and it could have a whole nother role. It could have anomaly power with cooldown reduction or whatever else. And so you're always looking for pieces of gear to make your build just a little bit better. Not to mention the fact that these are terrible what's in here right now. 9.7, 10.3, 10.4, 10.5. They're all low. 11.3, 11.5 is about the highest. What's up, Ibu? 11.3 is about the highest that you can get to for your armor, so you can go much higher with the armor. Not much higher, but you can go fractionally higher with the armor than what stands there. With weapons, it's the same thing. You can have guns that have all kinds of different talents on them. And the way that you put your build together creates different things. In addition to that, you've also got different skills that you can run. So, from a grenade to, 2 different types of turrets. There's a lot there. Again, I don't want to spoil too much because it's much better to let you jump in and give it a shot, especially with it being on sale right now. What the hell? Why not try it, right? And then in your class, you get 20 points to spend, 20 class points to spend, which you can spend through, they call it top tree, middle tree, or bottom tree, depending on where you're going to go and they're set up to be a little bit different. This middle tree is more survivability, top tree is more gun damage, bottom tree is a little bit more to go towards anomaly, which is like a skill build. My build that I'm running right now is 100% set to give me more gun damage. And in fact, everything that I'm doing on this build is set to give me more. Gun damage. Using close range and long range damage on all of these pieces. What it means is, if you hit the button here, you can see I've got an extra 54% damage if they're close. And close is obviously within 10 meters. And then I've got an extra 96% damage to enemies that are further than 12 meters away from me. So as long as they're a little bit more than 12 meters from me, my damage will literally double. And then, again, because my armor's a little bit low, I'm only at 49.8% physical damage reduction. If I had a little more armor, that would go up. You can put some things on as well to get that to jump, and then in addition to that, right now I'm running mitigation from death on my boots, which gives me another 45,000 armor for each enemy that I kill when I'm aiming down sights. So, like in the middle of a fight, you'll see that number jump. Same thing with the firepower number. The one thing is, this particular character is a brand new character. So, where this helmet's maxed out, right? So I was able to roll the bonus firepower up to 8,000, long range damage up to 10%, close range damage up to 10%. You'll notice that the jacket isn't at 8,000. It's at 73 and 8.3 and 9.01. What you actually can do is, there's a dude that you can go talk to. When you talk to him, you can change all this stuff around. I need to upgrade my gear. And this is part of the fun part, is that you get to do all this different stuff. And just as an example, like right now I need to go farm, because if I want to take this jacket and I want to raise its attributes, I can't raise its bonus firepower, long range damage, or close range damage, because I don't have enough of those materials. So I need to go find pieces of materials that have this little star next to it, and what it means is when I delete them, it'll give me more of those materials so I can boost this stuff up. So this guy's not really optimized yet. None of his stuff is. I need to mess around with him some more, and I recently just did this gun today, which is another thing. Guns can roll, when you look at that firepower damage, it's a representation of how strong it hits. You can get one from, it's at level 50, which is where I'm at, which is the top level. You can get anywhere from like in the low 70s if it's a complete piece of junk, up to 95.4 if it's a purple. And if you get an exotic, or legendary they call it in this game, it can go up to 99.4. So like this sniper rifle is at 99.4. That is the ultimate, which I can equip that on there too, just to make a big difference. But these also have different stats too. See how this has got armor, pierce, close range damage, skills, life leech, where this one has crit damage, skills, life leech, and long range damage. Well, so the fact that this one has crit damage, that's kind of cool, man. It's 300% booster as well, where this one's 250, where it says crit multiplier. But so if you look with this gun equipped, you'll notice that my crit damage goes up to 245. Where if you were to use this one, it would be much different. And then when I go to this one still has crit damage on it as well, so I'm still going to be high, but the multiplier, I'm down to 105, because the multiplier on this gun is only 164 if you see in that bottom right hand corner. I can't move my cursor over, or else you'll be able to see it. So, so I'm still working on this guy, trying to get him boosted up. Anyway, that's where I've been. I'm going to do I'll do a quick little easy street. Well, I can show you. I didn't want to show you the map, the overall map, because I don't want to spoil anything from the game itself. It's so much more fun if you were to get it, jump into it, try it, and have some fun with it. But I will go in and show you some of the gameplay. I will tell you too, we're going to do a chem plant, and it's good to go from anywhere from level 1 to level 15. The higher you go, all of this changes. Your chance of a legendary drop changes depending on whether you're going to do gold or... this is time-wise. If you do within 10 minutes, 50 seconds, you get gold. Silver if it takes 19. 25 minutes gives you bronze. And so when you do, you get less stuff, right? You get lower amounts of stuff. So as you drop your tier down, notice those change constantly. In addition to that, there's stuff called pods, which is a building material that you also get less of. I'm going to drop down to tier 13 because this guy's not optimized yet. And so just so you can see a little bit more fun of the play of it, we just make it a little bit easier. Enemies and loot are level 48. I'm level 50. So, but running it solo again, still, I don't have any crowd control in this build. It is strictly 100% damage based. I'm just there to do as much damage as possible. I will say one huge downfall, because most of the people that watch me are watching from, PS4s and PS5s. I will say that one of the major downfalls of this game right now is that the controller aim assist is really whacked out of control. The best thing for this build that I'm running right now is if I get a headshot. It gives me the most damage, and you'll see that as I run through some of the gameplay. But sometimes it won't move. The aiming stick won't move.
Massive energy spikes
I'll let this first part play out so you can see some of that.
The last thing I can afford is those monsters generating more power. I need you to disable their operation. Push your way through the slums, reach that chemical plant, and terminate any bastard you find.
So again, the build the way that I'm set up right now, I don't have a lot of defense. I don't have a lot of CC or crowd control. This is just 100%. I'm going to kill him. That's it. That's all this is about. So, and he's not beast boosted up yet. I've got other guys that are more boosted up, but let's see how he does. Right now, I'm about to hit a button to give me my hot rounds. Get him. That sniper's a big pain in the butt. See how the aim assist doesn't even snap to him? Just weird and wonky to get there. So you hit that headshot, you get crit. Every enemy has got a crit spot. Back there. Like I said, the aiming's a little wonky, but section. You'll see a lot of videos from the PC players that they're just Russian headshots. Crush headshots way easier. Not exactly a speed run. Jesus. This guy really needs to get buffed up, man. Again, this guy's not built up at all. He needs some loving. This is going to be a horrible run.
Elevators should lead to the heart of the facility.
That's a shortcut for this room, by the way. Not everybody knows that. You have to wait till that all loot drops.
Whatever that thing is, that switch should be stable.
Yeah, we're gonna end up with a silver. It took way too long.
Whoa.
This build's set up really mostly for playing. I got a friend, H, who plays with a Pyromancer. So this is set up to do single target damage. I can change it to do multiple target damage. It's much easier to hit up these guys. But we're going to control all these guys. Especially like the other one. I've got to set up to where they blow up. Whenever you kill a frozen target. The single target damage will be really fun. Wouldn't be any fun if it wasn't a challenge, right? Alright, so we just crossed over into silver territory. That is a nice thing to ever see. When I rip into him, man, it just destroys him. And you have to do a combat roll at the end. Rules, just the way it is.
Shira,
Slow-mo
about
combat.
those energy spikes? The insurgents had a functioning power cell down here.
Off.
What did you do with it?
It's disabled. I'll see if
Definitely
Zahedi
need
can't
to
take
get.
a look at it. And I found a
I noticed too. It just said I
You
collected
saved some lives today, Outrider.
24,000
I would expect nothing less from you.
pods. The pods are what you use to build stuff up with. So if I go into my inventory,
Oh,
you see that I've got 25,000 pods. on a gold, that would be 75,000 if you were doing a tier 14. But again, if I get all these numbers up, everything will go a little bit higher. And so that would be much simpler than what it was. In addition, if we were playing with a team, I'm the quote-unquote DPS build. The cool part is now at the end of everything, you open this up. There's blues, purples, and if we're lucky, a gold will drop. Gold of the legendaries. For this video, no golds dropped. No golds were harmed in the filming of this. So all this stuff you can take a look at it in your screen. It'll show you what it's looking like. That may be a big gun. That's armor piercing. That's not a good gun either. And you can go look over the stats of some of the stuff that's here to see if there's anything that's better than what you have now. Notice how some of these have like all kinds of different roles: anomaly power, healing, receive, cooldown reduction, etc., etc. And then the cool part is, I'm not going to use any of this stuff, right? I just want to get rid of all of it. So I'm just going to hit mark all as junk, mark all as junk, delete it. You're going to see me pick up materials here: leather, iron, and titanium, which is all used to upgrade stuff. And in addition, I picked up some extra shards, so I can put another little more bonus firepower on there and some other stuff. And then we go back to the camp. Be a quick little load screen here. Now, the expeditions right now are end game. Once you get to the end of the game, your top tier. Actually, when you finish the story missions, you're still only at a top level of level 42. You actually have to go into these expeditions in order to see that. This is kind of cool too. At the end of the match, it tells you what you did. And this is me being horrible. Accuracy's not horrible, it's 25%, but crit hits would mean that I hit like the dudes in the head. So out of 203 enemies killed, I only got 114 crit hits, which is not good. That's bad aiming on my part in itself. But what's cool is if you had multiple people in here with you, you could see who did what damage and how they did it. So if somebody else was running a techno, I could look at it and be like, dude, what did you do to get so much more damage? It shows your healing. It shows you where your damage came from. So with everything that I did, all of my damage on this build, and it's always going to be this way, it's going to come from the blighted rounds. Which are bullets that have toxic built into them. A little bit from some of the other stuff, but really nothing much of anything. And then it'll also tell you which of the enemies that I killed. So it gives you some more specific information, which is just cool. It's nice to have an after screen. In addition to that, like I said, if there are other people that are in here playing with me, you'd be able to see, what damage everybody did. But the cool part is, because I just destroyed all those pieces, remember I was telling you we need to upgrade some gear? Well, here we go. Now that I've deleted a bunch of pieces, I'm going to upgrade gear. Now I can take that chest piece. I can raise the attributes in the chest piece. I've got just enough, I picked up just enough firepower to raise it up 1. That was it. The other pieces that I have, I didn't pick up enough pieces that had those stars on them. Now maybe my weapon, maybe I picked up some crit damage? Nope, didn't pick up any of it. No crit damage, long range, or close range. That means none of the weapons that we dismantled had any of those talents on them to be able to have the shards to do it. But there's a couple different places you can go to be able to find the shards and find the other stuff. Some of where these are those pods that we just picked up. Some of where they come into play is if I want to level up this particular pistol. It cost, actually I'm low, it cost 36,000 pods. So I need another 10,000 pods in order to be able to rank it up more. Which is no big deal. It gives you a reason and excuse to play, you know what I mean, to get it a little bit further. But anyway, I wanted to do at least one quick mission, one quick expedition, just to let you see what's going on. There's a bunch of different expeditions. It's kind of cool too, because you can take a look to see which ones you've done, which ones you haven't done, what your fastest times are. The T1 through 15, that's just the levels. T1 is the lowest, T15 is the highest. Like I said, this particular character is a newer character, so he hasn't done everything yet. I've just been kind of messing around with him. My buddy H and I just built him up the other day, so he's still a work in progress. But anyway, as always, guys, thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, it was somebody got to see a little bit of gameplay from somebody they know and decided whether or not they wanted to mess around with it. Like I said, the game is on sale right now, so you can always jump into it and play it. As far as for a bunch of YouTube videos from me, to be honest, I mean, I half the reason I do YouTube anymore at all, or that I was doing YouTube, was just simply because I had so many guys that were asking me to, or that enjoyed it, or would tune in whenever we did it. But really don't have aspirations to be a big YouTuber. There's so many guys that are doing it with such cool intros and such cool stuff from PC that I just don't attack it too much. So you'll see a random video from me every now and then, just having some fun. But hope everybody has a great Memorial Day weekend and is doing well. Looks like everything's kind of turning around with this whole quarantine thing and pandemic thing, so we're getting better. Hope everybody stays healthy. Good luck to you out there, and as always, thank you for being a subscriber, and thanks for tuning in. I'll try to throw something up every once in a while, just out of respect for that. So, be good, boys. Catch you soon. Oh, and I should mention too, I was gonna shut down the broadcast here, but I have already pre-ordered Sniper Ghost Warrior, or Sniper Contracts. Yeah, Sniper Contracts 2. I'm a big fan of the Sniper Ghost Warrior series. Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 was one of the best ones I think they made, and it's one of my favorite games to play. Like, it's just really cool the way that it runs. It's only single player though, so you can't really play with other people. But then in addition, Contracts wasn't quite as good, but there's no Contracts 2 coming out now, so it should be pretty cool and pretty interesting. I may put some videos up about that too. Anyway, again, thanks for checking out the stream, and I threw it up just as a stream because it's an easier way for me to upload. And hope everybody has a great weekend. Alright, stay healthy. Catch you guys later.